And so now they get hacked and they have a notification process. We've seen fourth party hacks, even fifth party hacks. So these numbers are going to go up and up and up. But the bottom line is we're seeing them really targeting those high value assets, finding a 0-day vulnerability, and then boom, breaking in.
Hello, everybody. This is Mark Greisiger with NetDiligence. Continuing on with our series of doing interviews with key experts in the industry. This is for our cyber insurance partners, just to keep them aware, and also for the clients who buy cyber insurance to let them know where the trends are going. And so I have the great fortune today of speaking with a friend of mine, Sherri Davidoff. Sherri is the CEO of LNG Security. And this is part 2 of our interview, which we did a few months ago. Sherri, a big hello and thank you again.
Thanks, Mark. Great to be back.
Last time we talked about safeguard controls that would reasonably help an SME, small, medium-sized enterprise organization. This is kind of continuing, as far as on that theme, because there's a lot of different avenues we can go. I know this is like shifting sand. That's why I love talking with you and some of your peers, because you guys every day, every week, every month are seeing unique trends. And you and I just got off a very important call with our ransomware advisory group of like 50 industry leaders in incident response. And I was just saying earlier, I'm blown away by the amount of technical stealth things happening this past quarter or so. I mean, I just feel like, for an SME, just time to almost throw your hands up in the air. But I'm a big believer in outsourcing security to, an MSSP, let someone else manage that for you. I think some of the industry is probably going to go that way too. Beyond just looking for, does this SME seem to get it culturally? Do they have this, and this? But is someone actually managing it, watching it for them 24/7? So with that in mind, what do you think is the number one way you're seeing bad guys breaking into organizations?
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of change. I mean, if there's one thing that's a constant in security, is that it's constantly changing. I have been praying for a boring day for 22 years now. And this summer, we saw the MOVEit hacks. And to refresh everyone's memory, MOVEit is secure file transfer software. So we have a lot of higher security organizations like banks and major international corporations that are investing in MOVEit and similar products, and they're using that to transfer highly sensitive confidential documents. And so, of course, what happens? The hackers target it. So the hackers found a 0-day vulnerability in the MOVEit software, both in the cloud and on-premise installations. And so far, they have broken into, we know, at least 1,128 organizations. There are over 55 million individuals affected. And this is not the end. We're continuing to hear about this because often it was third-party providers that were transferring, like law firms or other accounting firms that were transferring software or files on behalf of their clients. And so now they get hacked and they have a notification process. We've seen fourth-party hacks, even fifth-party hacks. So these numbers are going to go up and up and up. But the bottom line is we're seeing them really targeting those high value assets, finding a 0-day vulnerability, and then boom, breaking in.
The MOVEit is a fascinating thing. I was mentioning earlier in the day that, we do an annual or a monthly newsletter just trying to check out what are the trends hitting all different business sectors, some of the leading threats. And I could not get away from the MOVEit story. It was like every other news site had stories on this impacting businesses of all sizes, all sectors, and it's been months now. It's shocking. So
MOVEit really has it all. I mean, it has 0-day vulnerabilities, it has data exfiltration, it has a third-party provider involved. So it really has all these components that have been individually trending wrapped up together, and that's why it's been so damaging and such a great illustration of the problems.
Yeah, and for the cyber insurers, our partners that we support, who I know you guys support, they're always worried about systemic risk, aggregation risk, and something like that where one organization touches so many other organizations, there's a domino effect to potential liabilities. It's what they're really paying attention to. So how can an organization defend against a 0-day attack against software?
Yeah, great question, Mark. So first of all, we have to be aware of our internet-facing perimeter. All systems that are facing the internet, the organization needs to know what they are and make sure that they're regularly checking them. And where a lot of organizations are missing things is their assets that are in the cloud. So they might be scanning all the systems that are part of their main network, forgetting all the systems they have in the cloud, or thinking that it's their cloud provider's problem. So this month, LMG Security, my company, released our top control of Q3 for the year, and it is attack surface monitoring. You have to make sure that you are scanning and discovering everything on your perimeter. And it's not just about discovering the vulnerabilities that are in that, because you may not know about the vulnerabilities yet. We're seeing a lot of zero-day attacks. So just the fact that you have software that's internet facing is a risk in and of itself, and we all need to work to minimize it.
I mean, great points. So the final, topic we could kind of round this off on would be just how can an organization better prepare for a future breach involving their third-party products?
Yeah, so again, here's where MOVEit's a great illustration. MOVEit is not the only third-party file transfer product that has been targeted. We saw the same thing earlier this year with a product called Go Anywhere. We saw the same issue last year when there was a zero-day vulnerability in Excellion, another file transfer product. And our insurers are bearing the brunt of this. They're paying out for these attacks, which are hitting a wide number of organizations. And often you don't even know when you're insuring these companies that they're using this critical software. So number one, we all need to be paying attention to those high-value internet-facing assets. What do you have facing the internet that has all the sensitive, juicy information? And Mark, one of the things we talked about just now on our ransomware advisory board call was the fact that data exfiltration is a part of the majority of attacks. Over 80% of attacks are now involving data exfiltration. So you got to really be paying attention to where that sensitive data is being stored, how much is there. There's really simple solutions here. Limit data retention, clean it out after a week or 2 weeks, and you're going to reduce your risk. And then do proper vetting of your third-party software providers. Make sure they have secure coding practices. They're regularly getting checked, because you can't just put it out there and forget it because the third party's handling it.
That's huge advice. I mean, just trying to ask a key third party, because many organizations, as you know, they have dozens of third-party software they're utilizing.
Hundreds.
I guess you got to pick a battle. Like,
Yeah.
who is, really, who's our top ones, and ask for a reasonable amount of due diligence. Could be an executive summary. We ask for executive summaries of their last assessment or SOC or pen test, whatever, something to show some third party is doing due diligence on your organization.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Mark. Pick your battles. So identify those high-value assets and really focus on them like a laser.
Great conversation, Sherri, as always. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you in person in sunny Beverly Hills in just a little bit over a month.